We're often longing for love on our path, in our journey, in our lives. And then when it comes to the spiritual path, where we hear about beautiful, loving experiences that we're supposed to be having if we are more aware or more enlightened or more embodied, or all these beautiful words about how we're supposed to be on the spiritual path, that we're supposed to be feeling love. And perhaps our actual experience is that maybe it's a bit flat, or that maybe sometimes we feel a bit of love here and there, but that a lot of the time perhaps we hate people. We find people are very annoying, and we judge everybody, and we feel that people are a disturbance, and or perhaps even that we just don't care. We just don't care about other people. And then, of course, we might think that means that there's something wrong with me, that I should be more loving, I should be more caring, I shouldn't be so judgmental or critical of others. And so, again, we believe that means that there's really something missing, something wrong, I'm not spiritual enough. And perhaps we compare our experience to spiritual teachers, or what we read about, or we watch on videos, YouTube, and about how we see people just kind of overflowing with love and giving of themselves, self-sacrificing, and then in contrast to that, perhaps we feel so selfish and self-obsessed and in our own little world. And again, this feeds into there's something wrong with me. And of course that belief that there's something wrong with me takes us even further into our own little world of selfishness. So how to kind of find our way out of that hole? Well, first of all, to see that this is the nature of thought, to continually compare my experience with other people's experience. And that there's no end to that, really. This is just what thought does. And whether thought does that or not, or whatever thought says about your experience or other people's experience, it doesn't actually mean that it's true. Normally we're taking everything that thought says to actually be true and meaningful, as if it really is referring to a me in here and my experience, and others' experience outside of me, out there, and imagining what their experience is like. Of course, we don't know. And when people describe their own experience, you assume that you understand what those words mean. And nobody really can say what their experience is, because they're just using words to point to something that is always changing. So words are very deceptive, We shouldn't really take them too seriously, because they just kind of dance on the surface. They're like, like the chocolate sprinkles on top of the dessert. It's, kind of take them with a pinch of salt, really, not so seriously. And then if someone describes their experience as being so loving, well, okay, nice. It doesn't have to have any meaning for them or for you. It's just okay. But also the other thing is that experience is ever changing. So even if someone is experiencing, and even if you are experiencing the most loving experience, this is bound to change. So enjoy it while it's here. And when it changes, it changes. Don't expect it to not change, or even if there is an expectation that it shouldn't change, well, see that as just thought again. Thought trying to hold on to something that can never be held on to. A passing experience of a high that naturally will change into a low, or just a flat, or anything else, something else. The focus shifts from some kind of high experience, a loving experience, to, something else. Making a cup of tea or whatever, having a conversation. It's ever shifting. So again, to expect a certain kind of experience to last permanently, this is just not the nature of experience. So if you assume that other people or some spiritual teacher is having a permanent experience of love, this is not the nature of experience. So it's not like that for anybody. Nobody has a permanent experience of anything. Experience by its nature is ever changing. And this overflow of love, this giving, this self-sacrificing that you see, hear about, and perhaps assume that you should be doing or being like that. Well, this can, first of all, it can happen out of an idea that you should be giving. You should be helping people. And then you force yourself to be like that, even when you don't feel like that. And many people do that out of an idea, perhaps a religious idea or some social pressure that we should all just be helping each other all the time and giving endlessly, to the point where we don't really take care of ourselves. So that actually often for many people they're in a kind of caring role, and this means eventually that they have nothing really to give. They're just giving because actually perhaps they want to be liked, want to be loved, perhaps feel that if they give then they'll be liked. So this isn't real, coming from a real kind of overflow of love. It's coming from an idea of being a giving person, a caring person, a loving person. So if we're not giving and loving and caring out of an idea, maybe at first we swing to the opposite extreme. We say, well, okay, I don't have to give, I don't have to care about anybody else, I'm just going to care about myself. Well, at first this can seem very selfish. But you have to take care of yourself, otherwise you have nothing to give. If you are only giving from an idea or a sense of lack and an idea that you could get something from the outside, this doesn't resonate when you're really in love with what is true. You can't give like that. So you have to stay with what is true for you. But you may find that there's a movement to give or to be open to somebody else, to listen, to care about, to really see somebody else in a way that is unexpected for you. If you're really staying with what is true for you, what is real for you, staying sensitive to what you feel, you may notice that actually the feelings and sensations that are here are not actually related to a me, unless you believe they are. You couldn't call them my sensations, my issues, my problems, my suffering. But that's also referring to thought. Without referring to thought, the sensations are felt, but also responses to your environment or people around you are also felt. And this is, this includes whatever is here and whoever is here with you. Seeing that they are not separate from you is very natural and normal. Then there may be a natural urge to move, to support, to help, to give in a way that might really surprise you. But it doesn't come from an idea that you should give or help or love. It comes from loving yourself. Because you enjoy yourself, you are staying focused with what is true for you. What is true for you can sometimes be an overflow to do something or to meet somebody else. And it's never about really helping anybody else. It's always about you. It's the ultimate selfishness, really, because there's only you. So why wouldn't you help yourself everywhere, in everything? If you feel that there is some need, some lack, some pain, some disturbance, you might be moved to do something, to take some action. You might be moved just to stand with somebody and meet them in whatever they're feeling. And this is love, to meet whatever is here for yourself, but also for others. To know that actually there's no separation. It doesn't have to feel loving. It doesn't have to feel like you're on a high. These are just temporary experiences. But meeting your own experience and meeting others, which in fact are your own experiences also, you see that there is no separation between you and anything else. And love doesn't have to look like what you think it should look like. It doesn't have to always be about doing something really kind. It might be shocking, it might be radical, it might be about bursting someone's bubble, pointing out that actually there's perhaps they're believing in a belief that is limiting them. It might be for you also the same way, waking up to something that you have been holding on to in your own experience that isn't true. This is also love, even if it's uncomfortable or humiliating or painful. Love is beyond words, really. It doesn't have to look like anything, it doesn't have to feel like anything. It's a very strange thing because we talk a lot about love, but actually nobody really knows what it is. It's not something that thought can really grasp. It's not a concept. It's not a feeling, it's not an experience. It's every feeling, it's every concept, it's every experience. Knowing that it's all included in you. Trusting that it moves you by itself, without thought or who you think you are needing to get involved. So another word for love is trust. Free fall in trusting that life takes care of itself, life lives itself. That thought doesn't need to know how to control my life. That it's all absolutely unfolding perfectly. Even if it doesn't fit into your ideas about how it should be. That this is life loving itself just the way it is.